Our region's been a major contributor to advances in science, engineering, and medicine for the better part of the past 150 years. And in recent years, 3 native sons of our region have also been providing national leadership through the presidencies of the National Academies of Science and Engineering and the Institute of Medicine. The 3 were recently honored by the Carnegie Science Center with its prestigious Chairman's Award, and they seemed honored by the honor.
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. I grew up in Squirrel Hill on Northumberland Street in the house that my parents lived in for more than 50 years. I went to Taylor Alderdice High School, and then when I graduated, went off to college, but always stayed connected through family to Pittsburgh.
I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, about 50 miles from Pittsburgh, so this is old home territory for me. My father was a mathematics professor at West Virginia University, and all my family on both sides had grown up in that general area over the years.
I was born in Newcastle, and then the family moved just a few miles to one of the surrounding townships. I think that this shock of Sputnik affected a lot of young people in my generation. So the teachers all felt kind of a duty to identify students who might be able to, succeed in science and engineering. And I very much felt that pressure. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it was kind of dumb luck and the ability, the fantastic opportunity to go to college that allowed me to later develop interests.
I actually was not all that interested in mathematics when I was really young. Later on, when I got into sort of the end of senior high school and into college, I became extremely interested in mathematics, and my father and I were very close, and that gave us a little extra language to speak to each other with.
Growing up in Pittsburgh was even greater than I realized at the time. I didn't appreciate the fact that every city didn't have the kind of park system, for example, that Pittsburgh can boast of. All those great industrialists that made so much money in the 19th century and early 20th century, well, many of them donated their lands to the city and made them open then to the public. As a child, I can remember many, many great experiences hiking in Frick Park. I loved the fact that you could enter the park in the middle of the city, go into the woods, walk for miles, always in the woods, and come out again in the middle of the city. It was just a great experience growing up.
There are 2 reasons that in this 21st century everybody's going to need a better grounding in science and technology. The first is just to be an informed citizen, because we face many great challenges that we're not going to understand how to meet. We're not even going to understand their nature if we don't have a grounding in science and technology. Then secondly, there's a very pragmatic reason. Young women and men are going to need a strong grounding in mathematics, in science, in the basic ideas of engineering to do the vast majority of jobs. So engineers and applied scientists are job creators, and they're job doers. But technology is so permeating things that no matter what line of work you go into, you're going to need a much stronger grounding than we've typically been giving young people.
From a scientific point of view, we're in the midst of an incredible revolution in understanding of biology. The Human Genome Project has opened up vast new arenas of possibility in uncovering the fundamental causes and origins of many illnesses, and indeed many attributes of our health. In addition, science has advanced in so many ways in understanding the nature of biological processes, cellular processes, the things that determine our health, our illness, our well-being. And I think the future opportunities in science for health and biology have never been brighter. It's a great time to be entering science. It's a wonderful time to be serving people through science.
Like everybody else, I get up in the morning and I read the newspapers and I get all pessimistic. But if you step back, in general, the world keeps getting better. health is improving, economies are building, education's rising all around the world. We are in better communication with each other, we know each other better, and our knowledge base and our scientific and technological and medical capabilities keep improving. So I think you have to be optimistic, and the worst thing we could do is let our cynicism or pessimism rub off on young people, because the young people ultimately make all the difference, and I believe that they're just as good as they've ever been, and the world will get better.
The unusual confluence of leadership from our region has come to an end with the month of June, with the retirement of Charles Vest as president of the Academy of Engineering. Even though the native of Morgantown is stepping down, Ralph Cicerone, a native of Newcastle, continues as president of the Academy of Sciences, and Harvey Fineberg, originally of Squirrel Hill, as president of the Institute of Medicine. And of course, their legacy will live on in our region. The National Academies selected Pittsburgh as the pilot for a new Science and Engineering Ambassadors program. And when we return, celebrating our region's environmental transformation with art during the EQT Three Rivers Regatta. Stay with us.